tell me a little bit about why you wanted to meet with me. Hi, Tom.
Well, first off, as I mentioned before, I'd like to say it's a privilege to be your first interviewee. And after I looked at your stuff after agreeing, and it's amazing what you're trying to do and also what you've been through. For myself, I hit the link when I saw you looking for people with trauma. I can't specify really so much an event as sort of a long-term experience. And I don't want to turn this into the story of an unhappy relationship. Everyone's got those problems. But more my reaction to it, the unpreparedness, the possibly genetic deficiencies I had that made me more susceptible, the lack of knowledge, some of which I hope to impart here in your video, that would have kept me from running into the troubles I did.
Which is exactly what I'm looking for, is people who have experienced horrible times and have advice or how they got through it, because there are people who will be watching who have been through hard times similar to yours. So I just wanted, do you want to go into a little bit more detail about what you went through?
Well, obviously. I mean, if I can back up, I realize we want to keep this contained, but just the 20-second version of me is that I got bullied a lot as a kid. I was always very tall, but shy. I was smart enough to pass school, but very ADD, inattentive type, big daydreamer, shy, awkward, and easily picked. There was some sort of time frame to it. This is unending. As a matter of fact, although this person has no lives anymore, there's no closure or control. Throwing back. So even though the worst, I haven't even seen that person in 10 years, I still go through periods. What I started to do a lot was argue in my head to try and convince her, no, the boundaries are this, this is a lie, that's not. And this eventually took over. This eventually became so severe and constant. I remember having a nice sunny day off that I could put around the house and do what I want. And I tried to go to the garage and do things, and I ended up collapsing in the fetal position on the garage pad in the sunshine of a nice day because this stuff was just going through my head so much. I thought I had schizophrenia. Eventually, unfortunately, the marriage ended. I moved out on my own and being somewhat of a impulsive and vulnerable type, got caught up in the housing crash, and now all the money that I was trying to flip houses, I think, and got caught in that pretty severely. And so to suddenly have, I understood that my marriage had to end, but to suddenly have all my finances wiped out, and there'd always been through my life a feeling of being a little bit, this ADD, it makes you a lot less competent, or I felt a lot less competent to handle parts of my life. And so I ended up in huge anxiety attacks over the housing market crunch, ran myself totally out of money, and some other people out of money too. And unfortunately, I'd already had some experience with the mental health medical system up to that time, and it's not great. Pills are the answer. Pills is about the only main answer, certainly through the public health care system. So when I was in crisis, I did go psychiatric walk-in clinic, and I wish I could tell a happier tale. I was put on a drug that was completely unsuitable. The follow-up was non-existent, brutal. So I dropped out of sight, and it became so overwhelming that I took all of the old medications that I'd had up to that point, tried various things for the depression that I had for years, and took them all at once. And ended up in Grey Nuns psych ward for 5 weeks. That's about, we're coming up to about the 10th year anniversary on that.
I'm glad you're still here.
Yeah, well,
That's an important anniversary to celebrate.
But I'm still have a lot of trouble with this, with ADD and low levels of depression and this feeling of incompetence. And I'm not in any serious I'm not at all in crisis form, but I can feel these waves as I get older. You know, you start to feel the deadlines. You got to get things tied up. You got to get things about your health. It's time to get serious about the remainder of your life if you're going to do something with it. And that's sort of where I'm at now, and that's sort of what brought me to you.